How about testing your observation skills? Each next level is trickier than the previous. Remember to note down your score. You'll get 1 point for each correct answer. You'll find your results at the end of the video. Level 1. Newbie. Which person is different from the others? Right, this one with shorter hair. Try to figure out which emoji is the odd one. The one at the bottom. Not only does it feel hot, it also looks pretty angry. I challenge you to find a cat that is different from the rest. Right! It's the one closer to the bottom facing away from you. Which image is the odd one? This little rebel is turned in the opposite direction. Have you noticed anything wrong with this picture? The ball. It's for playing soccer, not basketball. Which cow is different from the others? This one. Moo. How about these burgers? Does any of them stand out? This burger is smaller than the rest. There's something wrong in this picture. What exactly? It's the river. It just seems to disappear under the bridge. Which emoji is the odd one? The one missing its mouth. There's something that doesn't seem quite right in this picture, but what? Its colors are a bit messed up. Which emoji is different than the others? It's the one with both its eyes open. These smiley faces look cool, all but one. This emoji isn't actually all that smiley. There's something wrong with this keyboard. Can you figure out what exactly? There are 2 8s on it and no 9s. Which pooch is the odd one? This doggy seems to be friendlier than the rest. Well, this level didn't seem too hard to me, but are you up for some real challenge? Level 2. Head scratching. Find the odd avocado. Right, it's the one with the heart-shaped pit. Which emoji is different from the others? This little guy is just a wannabe. It isn't a unicorn, it's a horse. Can you find the odd emoji? The one at the bottom seems to be even more in love than the rest. One of these music notes is different. Which one? Ah, now I see it. What's wrong with this picture? The calendars claim it's August 2018, but the computer is sure it's still August 2017. Can you spot a teddy bear without a hat? Here it is! There's something strange about this picture, but what exactly? One of the birds doesn't have a reflection. Ew, creepy. What sheep is different from the others? This one. Don't you think there's something wrong in this image? I've got only one question. How did this massive ship get inside? Which emoji is the odd one? This one. Its zipper is on the left, not on the right. Look at this picture closely and find what's wrong here. The clock showed different time. And now, find two things missing in this image. The bus lacks side mirrors and windshield wipers. Try to figure out which emoji is the odd one. This is a left hand, while the others are right ones. Which couple is different from the others? The one in the middle? There, the man is still hiding the ring behind his back. One guy is somehow different from the rest. Which one? It's the guy wearing a watch on his wrist. To tell you the truth, I even paused the video once or twice to figure out the answer, but there's still level 3 ahead. Level 3. Mind-boggling. Find the penguin whose bill is missing. Here it is. Now I see why this level is called mind-boggling. Which magician is different from the others? Look at this one. His robe is not blue but green. What's wrong with this picture? Electric trains have doors on both sides of the car. How fast will you find an extra pom-pom? This red ball is neither a nose nor a pom-pom. Wow. Can you spot an apple in this image? Ah, this is where it's hiding. Something is wrong in this picture, but I can't figure out what exactly. The fairy lights on the tree are shining, but they aren't plugged in. Which emoji is the odd one? Unlike the others, these arrows are all pointing in one direction. Find two identical snowmen as fast as you can. Here they are, the coolest ones. Can you spot a rabbit among these cats? This bunny is a guru of disguise. A candy cane is hiding among these gift boxes. Do you see it? Nice try, but I'm too attentive to fail that. Which image is different from the rest? This dog is definitely a different breed. Find the odd emoji. This guy is way more evil than the others. One cat is somehow different, but can you figure out which one it is? This one, because it's not a cat but an owl. There's something wrong in this image, but to figure out what, you need to be very attentive. This guy is wearing swimming goggles. One elephant is different from the others. Which one? The one at the bottom. This level has indeed messed with my mind. And now, are you looking forward to finding out your results? If your score is 0 to 15 points, you need to pay more attention to small details. As soon as you start working more on your observation skills, your results will get much better. If you've got 16 to 30 points, you have a sharp eye. Ow! If you practice more, you'll become a pro in no time. If you have 31 to 45 correct answers, you can spot the tiniest details and figure out the answers to the trickiest riddles. Nothing can escape your eagle eye.
Believe it or not, this optical illusion will let you know if you should drive in the rain or not. Take a look at this image. Try to find the sequence of numbers hidden inside it. Okay, go! Did you say 3,452,839? If you did, then your contrast sensitivity is on point. The so-called contrast sensitivity helps you to clearly see the outline of small objects. If this feature is not well developed in your system, then you shouldn't really drive in the rain or even when it's foggy out. Take a look at this image. What animal is not depicted here? A rabbit, a duck, or a snail? The picture definitely doesn't depict a snail. Way to go if you got that right. How many different scenes can you spot in this image? 3? 4? Take a guess. It's only 2. You should be able to see the chalice in the first scene. And then, when you change your focus, you should be able to spot the profile of 2 faces with a white background. Okay, take a look at both images. Can you tell if the circle on the right is larger than the circle on the left? Believe it or not, these 2 circles are actually the exact same size. This illusion is known as the Ebbinghaus illusion, and it was discovered by a German physiologist in the early 1900s. One of the possible explanations for why our brain glitches when looking at this image is due to the size of the external circles. Since the circles on the right are much bigger, they make the one from the right look smaller than the one on the left. Can you stare at this parrot's eye for 15 seconds? Just keep staring at it. I'll tell you when you can close your eyes. You're about to witness a great example of an after image. 3, 2, 1, and close your eyes. Can you see a red parrot? Isn't it amazing that even though this parrot is black and white, you have the illusion of seeing the color red? Again, this is just your brain trying to guess the color of something. Behind all of these little black dots, there's an image. Are you part of the 1% of people that can see it? It's a minion. Congrats if you spotted that. Here's another one in this style. Can you see what's hidden here? It's a ninja turtle. Honestly, did you need to be a bit of a ninja to see that one? And what about this one? My, it's Homer Simpson. So now there's something hidden behind black stripes. How's your X-ray vision working? You got it if you said it's one of the dragons from How to Train Your Dragon. That's cute. Can you tell which circle in this image is the darkest one? Uh-oh, that was totally a trick question. All the circles are exactly the same color. This is a classic example of the saturation optical illusion. It shows how our brain perceives color in a very subjective way. The lighting and background of an object influence how we see it. So when the gray circle is put against a darker background, we tend to believe it's brighter than its true color, and vice versa. This illusion is called the impossible triangle. But wait, what makes it so impossible? You only have a few seconds to figure that out. The so-called Penrose triangle is also known as the impossible triangle because it could never exist in reality. This magical triangle defies the laws of Euclidean geometry. If you follow the ball sliding on the surface of the triangle from the top point, you'll notice something strange. It looks like the left side of the triangle is extending away from the viewer, while the right side is closer to you. The Penrose triangle is the type of geometrical figure that can only exist as an optical illusion, because this is what it looks like if we dismember it. Not a triangle at all, huh? Take a look at this image. Which line do you think continues the black one? The red line or the blue line? As much as it looks like it's the blue line, it's actually the red line. This illusion was first talked about in the 1960s, and it's called the Poggendorff illusion. This is a classic example of how our brain perceives geometric shapes and depth. According to scientists, our brain tries to perceive two-dimensional pictures with three-dimensional properties. This is why it distorts the depth between lines in this image. Pretty intense, huh? Take a look at this staircase. Now let's flip the image upside down. It still looks like a staircase, but instead of going from right to left, it looks like it's going from left to right. Don't blink though. If you blink, the illusion will disappear and you will be left with the original image. This illusion is known as Schroeder's staircase, and it was invented by a German scientist, Heinrich Schroeder, back in 1858. It's really simple, but it talks about the same principle we saw in the previous illusion. If we dismember the staircase, you'll notice that the image is actually flat. What our brain perceives as a three-dimensional image is just a combination of shadow and light. This means that the 3D itself is already an optical illusion. This happens because our brain captures images and tries to fit them into what it already knows. It sees a shadow in a 2D image and it understands it as depth. Basically, it creates an unreal perspective of the object in front of our eyes. In this case, we call it a three-dimensional perspective. These circles seem to be moving pretty much everywhere they're told. Do you believe they are really moving? Or could we say that they're stationary? I know it's hard to believe, but they're not moving an inch. This illusion has baffled the internet, but this is what's going on behind the scenes. There's a very, very thin inner and outer edge to these circles. And these edges are a different color than the bulk of the circle. To create the illusion, animators make these outer edges move. But since there's a variation in color, our brain interprets it as the entire circle moving. That's why even if we block the arrows, we still have the impression that the circles are moving. Take a look at this image. It looks like the square in the middle is breathing, right? Like it's growing in size and then shrinking. What if I told you that it's just rotating, but not changing in size? Here's what's happening. This illusion is called motion binding. It happens when our brain tries to predict the movement of one of the elements in the image. Crazy stuff! Let's try another one. Stare at the cross in the middle of this image for 10 seconds, starting now. Did all of the colors from the image fade away and all you could see was a white page? Bizarrely, our brain just erases all the nuanced colors and leaves you with a white screen. First up, we have what looks like a gray bar moving up and down on an orange background. But if you stare at this little black dot, you may see the gray bar turn into a different color. What color did you see? Did you say blue? Yep, that was it. There's a graphic city with a dot in the middle of it. Stare at this dot for around 10 seconds, starting now. Wow, what just happened? Even after the picture turns black and white, our brain is still able to perceive the original colors. This is another example of an afterimage. After we've fed our brain with a fixed image of something, when we turn it black and white, our brain is still trying to guess the colors of it.
Lily was walking home from school one day when a huge portal opened up before her. She was curious, so she decided to walk through it. The portal took her straight to the castle of the Great Zormir, a cool magician that had harnessed the power of thousands of Philosopher's Stones. As soon as Lily crossed the portal, he closed it. He told the girl that she had been chosen to take part in a great quest and that she could only leave the castle if she agreed to play his game. She had to answer all of his riddles correctly, and only then he would let her go. For the first riddle, he showed her this image and asked her to figure out what word was hidden in this illusion. Can you help her out? It's the word sun. Way to go, both of you. Zormir liked to play with trickery and illusion, so for his next trick, he called a chef. The guy walked in with a cart filled with Spanish empanadas, and Lily's mouth started watering.
Yeah.
He told Lily that she had to eat all of the empanadas, except one, and that she should choose wisely, because that special empanada was poisoned.
Oh.
Take a look at the image. Can you help Lee choose which one she shouldn't eat? Let's see. That one on the bottom left corner looks suspicious. It has a green fog coming out of it. It's probably from some heavy type of poison, isn't it?
Oh my God!
Whew!
Ah.
Lily got out of that one okay. Next, Zormir showed Lily a strange painting. He changed the image on the painting to show one of his illusions. Can you figure out which word is hidden here? It's the word never. To get to the next level, Lily had to guess the answer to this simple riddle. What has keys but can't open locks and speaks without a mouth? It took the girl a while to figure it out, but she got it right.
Yes.
Do you know what she answered? It's a piano. Lily was taken to an empty room in the castle. It had nothing except 4 doors. The great Zormir told Lily that she had to find a time machine behind one of these doors and left her a clue. Trust only one of the inscriptions and it will lead you to the treasure. On each door, there was a sign. The sign on the door A said, "It's behind B or C." The sign behind door B said, "It's behind A or D." Door C said, "It's in here." And door D claimed, "It isn't here." Can you guess which door Lily opened? Let's see how this would work. If the time machine was behind door A, then both B and D would be true. But if it was behind door B, then both A and D would be true. If it was behind door C, then A, C, and D are all true. But if the time machine was behind door D, then the statements on all the other doors were false, except for that on door B. This matched the rules, so it was behind door D. Lily opened the door and found the time machine. Next to it, there was a super modern digital lock asking for a code of access. The catch was, as well as numbers, there were emojis. Lily had no idea which combination to press, but she saw that Zormir left a clue on a paper note. 2 plus 2. 3 plus 3. 7 plus 7. Can you help Lily out here? This is a tricky one. What she needed to do is overlay the numbers on top of each other. Once she's done that, she should flip the numbers on the second row. This way, she'd get the image of a fish, of the number 8, and of a triangle. So the correct combination to unlock it was the fish emoji, the number 8, and a triangle. Yikes. The great Zormir had set the time machine back to prehistoric ages. So Lily was zapped straight back to the ancient past. Take a look at the image. Can you spot the other time traveler in the picture? Ah, that's the one right there. He's holding a flashlight. I mean, those certainly didn't exist back in the day.
Ooh.
Lily went to talk to the other time traveler to see if he knew how she could get back to her normal timeline. He would only answer her question if she answered his riddle correctly. He asked her, "What has a heart that doesn't beat and a bank that doesn't hold a cent?" She was extremely confused by this one, but she answered, "A deck of cards." The guy was impressed and told Lily that to go back to her normal timeline, she had to figure out what was hidden in another of Zormir's illusions. Can you guess what word is hidden here? It's the word dog. Way to go.
Yes!
Lily got back to her normal timeline, but instead of going back to the castle, she found herself stranded on a deserted island. There was a note from Zormir saying, "The game is just getting started. You need to find the slang's witch and ask for her help." Take a look at the image. Can you find something that might help Lily find the witch? You sure have an eye for detail. There are 4 pieces of torn paper that together form a map. The map leads the way to the witch's abode. Walking through the forest on her way to the witch's house, Lily runs into a bear. She has to make a quick decision. She can either run away from the bear as fast as she can, or she can raise her hands and walk steadily backward until the bear is out of sight. What is Lily's best option? If she ran, the bear might feel under attack and end up hurting her. She should choose the second option. Finally, that looks like a witch's house. She knocks and the witch lets her inside. She asks the witch for help, but the witch is worried about something else. Earlier that day, she was working on a new love potion with the help of her elves, when she noticed that her precious hawk feather was missing. She asked if Lily could find out which elf had taken it. Lily said yes, and began to interview the elves. Arian said that he was giving apples to the fairies halfway through the making of the potion, and that before that, he made sure that the witch had every ingredient she needed for the spell. Elowen said he was at another cauldron testing an anti-aging potion. He also said he was sure to see the feather before the witch started the job. Ilaria was sorting out the bad herbs from the herbs all afternoon and didn't notice anything weird going on in the house. Lily took some time to think about the elves' testimony and finally figured out the answer. Can you tell who did it? It wasn't any of the elves. Lily noticed that the feather had fallen down and was stuck in a crack on the floor. The witch must have let it fall down and didn't notice it on the floor. The witch was happy with Lily's help and told her she would help Lily run away from the great Zormir. She opened 3 portals and let Lily choose the one she wanted to go through. The first portal would lead Lily to New York City. The second portal would lead her directly to her school. And the last portal would lead her to a beautiful island in the Bahamas. Take a look at the image. Which portal should she choose? Well, it could be fun to visit New York City, but there's a huge snowstorm going on. And why would anyone want to go to an island surrounded by sharks? Lily should just go back to school. She skipped enough classes.
They say seeing is believing, but is it really so? Optical illusions have a mind-boggling way to trick our brains. They use a combination of colors, light, or particular patterns that can make us see things that aren't there. Today, we're taking our brains for a test drive to see how these illusions work. If you look at this image attentively, you'll notice a moving square that appears to be changing tones. What shades do you see? Dark, then light, then dark again. Wrong. The square doesn't change color at all. The creator of this illusion is a Japanese psychologist and artist, Akiyoshi Kitaoka. According to him, you can see your own brain changing its guess about the color of the square. Color is already an illusion created by our brains. It happens so that the color is created inside our visual systems. What our eyes perceive as blue is actually a wavelength that is reflected as that color. Neuroscientists say that about 50% of our brain is involved in the vision process. Visual signals are dispersed to more than 30 areas of our brain. Each area has a special function to process color, motion, depth, and form. All this information is combined, and voila! We can distinguish shape and color. Funnily enough, neuroscientists still don't understand the details of how all this happens, and neither do we, but we sure give it a try. Moving on, let's take a look at this staircase. It looks pretty simple, right? Well, now let's flip the image upside down. It still looks like a staircase, but instead of going from right to left, it looks like it's going from left to right. But don't blink. If you blink, the illusion will disappear and you will be left with the original image. Whoa, I think my brain just got really tired. This illusion is known as Schroeder's staircase, and it was invented by a German scientist, Heinrich Schroeder, back in 1858. It's really simple, yet it reveals a fundamental mechanism of how our brain works. Let's understand why. If you sorta disassemble the staircase, you'll notice that the image is flat. What our brain perceives as a 3D image is just a combination of shadow and light. This means that the 3D itself is already an optical illusion. This happens because our brain captures images and tries to fit them into what it already knows. So it sees a shadow in a 2D image and it understands depth. Basically, it creates an unreal perspective of the object in front of our eyes. In this case, we call it a three-dimensional perspective. In 2020, Japanese mathematician Kokichi Sugihara took this illusion one step further. Let's take a look. At first glance, it looks just like a regular staircase. Again. But now, let's place an object at the top of the staircase and flip it at a 100-degree angle. I can't believe my eyes with this one. The object that appeared to be on top suddenly looks like it's at the bottom of the staircase. No wonder this work won Best Illusion of 2020. According to Sugihara, with this illusion, we are literally witnessing the way our brain tricks us into perceiving unreal things. At the heart of the illusion is a simple trick. The stairs aren't really stairs. They continue to be a flat 2D surface, making clever use of angles and shading to trick our brains. The 2D image was printed and glued into a basic 3D structure, but there is no real depth in the stairs, just the illusion of it. Got it? Look at this image for a moment and tell me how many bars you can count. This illusion has left the internet baffled. People have counted as many as 11 bars, but most count about 7 to 8 bars. According to the creator of this image, there are only 6 complete bars. Try counting from top to bottom and you'll notice that the upper bars are real. But by the time you get to the 6th bar, things start to get blurry and confusing. That's because the last 2 bars are incomplete, so when you try to count them, they appear to multiply and only leave you more confused. If you trace your pointer down the 7th and 8th bar, you'll be able to see that they are incomplete. They were only put there to confuse you. Can you tell if the dark blue lines are parallel to each other or whether they're inclined? They sure look crooked, but in reality, they're not. This classical optical illusion was first described over 100 years ago, but it wasn't until the 1970s that it got its current name. The cafe wall illusion. A guy named Steve Simpson noticed a similar effect on the wall of a cafe in Bristol, and here we are. Now, let's see how this works. First, let's blur the image a little bit. Oh, a little bit more. There you go. This way, you'll be able to see that the dark blue lines are parallel to each other. If you look closely, the little black and white bricks at the intersection of wide lines are what made this illusion possible. In addition to that, the curved elements inside the blue lines help to make the elusive effect even stronger. We'll understand why in a little bit. Up next, look at this black square, crisscrossed with perpendicular white lines. If you look attentively, you'll notice that the white dots situated at the intersection of the grid shift their color from white to gray and black. When you concentrate on a particular dot, you'll see that it's white, but as soon as your attention wanders, the dot turns gray. That's the Hermann grid illusion. Amazing, isn't it? We can take this illusion one step further by positioning white dots at the intersection of gray lines. All of them are placed on top of the black background. If you look at this image for long enough, you'll notice black dots starting to pop up at the intersections of the grid, creating a scintillating effect. Another name for this illusion is a simultaneous light contrast illusion. as you perceive the dots as white at one moment and then, almost immediately, you see them as black. So, why do our senses let us down by making us see gray or black instead of white? This illusion demonstrates one of the most important principles of human perception. You don't always see things for what they really are. The retinal cells in our eyes act as light receptors. When only one cell receptor gets illuminated, it perceives more light than when its colleagues are also illuminated. This prevents the firing of nearby receptors. With the Hermann grid illusion, the white lines are arranged in such a way that there's more light around the intersections than along the lines themselves. Thus, the dots at the intersections are more inhibited, and you see darker spots. This next illusion is called the Pac-Man chaser. You'll see why. Stare at the central cross for 5 seconds. The image appears to be in motion, doesn't it? And you might also see a green disc appear in between the lilac spheres from time to time. Now, this image allows us to witness 2 illusions simultaneously. Even though the image appears to be in continuous motion, nothing here is moving. We promise. This phenomenon is known as the phi phenomenon. It happens when stationary objects are placed side by side and illuminated rapidly one after the other, creating an illusion of movement. Now look at the center of the image again. Can you see the green disc? This illusion is called an afterimage, and this happens when your brain tries to substitute an item with something else as the original item disappears. But why is it green, you might ask? That's because green is lilac's complementary color. If we were to change the color of the disc to blue, then the color of the gap changes to yellow, which is blue's complementary color. Neat, right? This fresh set of optical illusions will definitely challenge your visual perception. If your brain isn't happy when you look at things that spin and flash, be careful and get somebody to watch this astonishing illusionary art with you. Ready? Go full screen and let's get started. Take a look at this pair of circles. It's not an illusion. They're identical, and they do rotate. But they don't actually move across the screen. The arrows confuse your brain, so it seems that the circles are shrinking and even moving back and forth. If you manage to focus your gaze so that they stop moving, you're a wizard. What about this shining star? Is it static or dynamic? Although the star seems to be pulsing, its size doesn't change at all, but its popping color creates an illusion of movement. Let's move on to our next one. Check this out. Can you spot any movement? This picture is static, but if you take your time to look at these flowers carefully, your brain will definitely convince you that they're moving. What about this picture? The direction of this pattern makes the brain think that the circle is rotating to the left, but it's a lie. The same goes for this cute pattern. Can you see it spinning around? What about this picture? Can you spot any movement? Well, in this case, it's not surprising because this image is animated. An optical illusion is not always an optical illusion, so be careful. Let's take a look at the next one. This star seems to be dancing because its asymmetrical shape confuses your brain's expectations. Maybe it's time to ask ourselves, what else is my brain lying to me about right now? What can you say about this beautiful pattern? Is it just a basic optical illusion or an animated video? That's right, it's an animation. Here's our next one. If you focus all your attention on the middle of this picture, it will soon begin to move. But in fact, it stays the same. Don't let your brain play tricks on you. Your perception of this image may change if you blink a bunch of times and shake your head. Moving on, take a look at this tricky pattern. Is this image static? Yes, it truly is. Some optical illusions work by fooling around with contrasts in our field of vision. These two circles consist of small rotating striped circles. They appear to change the direction of rotating thanks to how our brains deal with information immediately within our focus. It's different from the way it processes peripheral information. You can see it when you focus on one circle and then on another. Are you dizzy yet? Let's move on to the next one. Zigzag is a great tool to create a bunch of optical illusions that can make you feel like you're flying. But this particular zigzag pattern is animated. Is it? Nope, it's a static picture. Be careful with zigzags. The next optical illusion will make you see with your eyes closed. All you have to do is stare at this Marilyn Monroe's nose at the center of this portrait. Continue staring at the same spot for at least 7 seconds, and try not to blink. Ready? 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now take a look at your ceiling and blink a bunch of times. Close your eyes. Can you still see the portrait? Don't worry, it'll disappear in a few seconds. This optical illusion is called an afterimage. It appears after you've stared at an image for some time. Usually, it requires around 30 seconds. Then you close your eyes or look at a white piece of paper afterwards. Overstimulation makes the rods and cones in your eyes lose sensitivity. That's why for a short period afterward, you interpret colors as their paired primary color. Now, let's take a look at this tricky pattern. Is this image static or dynamic? It's not an optical illusion. This pattern is animated. If you managed to guess, great job! Now, let's take a look at this one. Do these spheres move across the screen? Nope, they don't. If you were careful enough, you noticed the top moving when you squinted and concentrated on the spheres. This optical illusion is static. But if you take your time and focus on the center of the screen, it will begin to rotate. Let's move on to our next one. This optical illusion will make you feel like a magician and level up your concentration skills. At this point, you probably see that the static circles begin to move, pop, and spin slightly. But which way? There's no right answer here. The largest circle probably spins to the left. But if you switch your focus to the center of the image, the same circle will begin to spin to the right. The movement will change depending on which layer of this image you're currently focusing on. Arrows inside these colorful circles may confuse your vision. Try not to look at them, and you'll notice that the circles inside this illusion aren't changing their shape or moving at all. It's pretty clear that this crazy watermelon isn't spinning, isn't it? Nope. If you screw up with your eyes, you can verify this by focusing your gaze on the sphere. See? It doesn't move anymore. This figure can begin to move like a snake, and the black points will begin to blink white. But don't let your brain fool you. This image is still the same. Are you dizzy yet? Let's experiment with disappearing dots. Focus on the central green dot. Try not to blink for a while. You will see one or more of the yellow dots disappearing and then reappearing randomly. Here's another illusion with disappearing dots. Thousands of people worldwide complained that this simple optical illusion had made them question reality. There are 12 black dots at the intersections of this image, but your brain won't let you see them all at once. Well, how many dots did you count? There are 12 black dots in this image, and it's a fact. But most people can't see all 12 dots at once. When you're focusing on that black dot in the center of your field of view, your visual system is automatically filling in what's going on around it. And this regular pattern of gray lines on a white background makes your brain suggest that there are no black dots at all. That's why you miss the intermittent black dots, or they disappear and reappear as your eye jitters around. This cute animation is also very tricky. It pictures a moon and 6 stars surrounding it. There's also a dotted circular layer moving in the background. Try not to move your head at all. If you manage to focus your eyes on the moon and stay perfectly still, you'll soon notice that the stars begin to disappear. How many of them did you make disappear? There's no one correct answer here. The number of disappeared stars depends on your perception. This tricky wheel can make your brain think that it rotates, but it's a lie. You may notice that the wheel changes the direction when you tilt your head to the right or to the left. This trick will make your hands melt like water. Don't worry, it's not forever. Keep staring at the center of the screen for 30 seconds. Try not to blink. Now, take a look at your hands. Are they melting? You can also look at some text and notice that your vision is wavy. Take a look at this tricky optical illusion. What can you say about this wheel? Is it static or dynamic? It's static. Your brain plays tricks on you. Now let's give your eyes a little break by changing the task. Can you spot an odd monkey out? Here it is. Can you find a different monster out? This guy in the right corner doesn't look as happy as the others. There are many zeros in here. Can you also see another hidden number? Here it is. Does this pattern consist of red apples only? Nope. Here's one tomato. Can you find 2 similar emojis among this variety? Here they are. What about this set of emojis? Can you see two identical emojis? Here they are. Take a look at these emojis. Are they all different? Nope, these two emojis are similar. How many emojis can you find among this variety? There are 3. What about this collection? Can you spot any identical emojis here? This task is tricky. All these emojis are different. If you manage to crack our trick, good job! Take a look at this set. Can you find a pair of identical emojis? Nope, it's impossible, because these two are similar. Does this cat crowd have any odd details? This guy over here is not a cat, it's a rabbit. Can you find a 4-leaf clover in here? Here it is. Lucky you. How many shades of gray can you count in this bar? The correct answer is 11. Nah, just kidding. The bar in the middle is one constant color. The background makes you see more than one shade of gray here. You can see it if you cover the spaces above and below the bar. Can you tell which of the surfaces is darker? Is it A or B? Surface A only seems obviously darker. In reality, they are exactly the same color. Cover the middle of the drawing with your hand to check it. Scientists still can't explain this illusion. One theory says this might be because of how your brain interprets the signals from the photoreceptors in your eyes. The most active cells reduce the activity in neighboring ones, and this creates a contrast that's not in fact real. Now, find the darkest square in this picture. Whichever square you chose, you can't be right. They're all the same color, just set against different backgrounds. Moving on, do you pick white or black pieces? I'll let you choose. Well, you can't pick black or white here because the pieces are all the same color. The background and the way you perceive light explains this illusion. How many colors do you see here? I clearly see 4. It's actually 2. Red and green, one shade of each. You get the illusion there are different colors here because some of them are surrounded by white and some by green boxes. By the way, white isn't a color in scientific terms. It's the presence of all colors. That's why we don't count it as one. Here's another one for you. Which side is darker? Nope, it's not the right side. It's one shade of red that seems darker on the right because of the black background. Oh no, this table is tilting to the right and about to turn over. Or is it? No worries, it's perfectly stable. The slanted lines create this tilting effect. Both rectangles are parallel. You can check it with a ruler. How many faults do you see in this square? The correct answer is 0. This square by Walter Ehrenstein is perfect.
It seems curved because it's placed inside a pattern of concentric circles. Would you prefer a rectangular or square table? No matter which one you chose, just take any. They're of exactly the same shape and size. Here's a classic Ponzo illusion. Which of the green lines is longer? It's the one in the foreground. Just kidding, they're the same length. This illusion works because your brain interprets the image with perspective, and it's just a simple 2D image. How about a ride? Do you think this Ferris wheel is moving clockwise or counterclockwise? Sorry guys, the ride is closed today. Any movement you see here is just an illusion. Here's an easy one for you. Try to quickly say the color of these words. Hey, it takes forever to focus on the colors without reading them. The right half of your brain is trying to name the colors, and the left half is trying to make you say the words. This is known as the Stroop effect, and it's used as a test for jobs where concentration is a must. Can you count all the gray dots at the intersections in this grid? The correct answer is 0. This is a Herman grid illusion. Your brain makes you think they are gray dots at the intersections because of the dark surroundings. If you look closer, all the dots are gone. Another good old classic, Necker cube. This was discovered in the 19th century. Do you think the blue wall is in the block or on the block? Is it the back wall or the side wall? There's no correct answer, so keep guessing. Is this just a set of some geometrical shapes, or does it have a secret message? Eureka! That's the correct answer. Are you up for a helicopter ride? Pick the one with a longer line on top. It's impossible. They're equal in length, and the surroundings make you believe otherwise. Time for some magic. You can turn this negative photo into a full-color image with the power of your brain. Stare at the dots at the center of the girl's face for about 30 seconds. Now, quickly turn your eyes to the center X of the white image on the right of the woman's face. Blink several times. Do you see the image of a girl in full color? If not, try staring at the negative image a bit longer, or sit closer or further from your computer monitor. This illusion works when your rods and cones get overstimulated. The cells viewing the darkest part of the image are least affected by this. When you look away, they react the strongest, and you can see the reverse of the original image. Some optical illusions with a double meaning can tell a lot about your personality. What do you see here? If it's a profile of a man to you, you're pretty realistic and take things for what they are. You trust others and easily rely on them at work and in your personal life. You mix with new people easily. If you notice the word liar, you always look for a hidden subtext in everything. It's not easy for you to trust others. Even when things are going just fine, you're always looking for some surprises coming your way. How many pandas do you see in this image? If it's just 2, you're an ambitious person focused on your goals. When you have a plan, nothing can take you off your course. You're direct and always say what you really think. If you saw 5 pandas or more, you're a really creative person. You always see the little things others might not notice. You get inspiration when you least expect it, even from basic everyday events. What does this one look like to you? If you see a huge eye on the ground, you're a settled person who's pretty content with their life. You have your home, job, and favorite places, and wouldn't give up this comfort for some unknown path. If you see a landscape with some deep green abyss or a volcano crater, you long for adventures. You can't wait to explore the world, and your biggest fear is settling down and not getting the chance to travel. Time for the next illusion. Those who see a face of a young girl here are pretty emotional and sentimental people. You miss someone or something that made you really happy and still can't let go. Try to accept the best is yet to come into your life. Those who see a young man staring at a landscape here are at the crossroads of their lives. You realize you need some changes to be happier, but you don't know what to start with. All roads are open to you. Just take that first step. Here's a really tricky one. If it looks like a landscape with a horseman to you, you're more extroverted than introverted. You enjoy your alone times, but mostly need the company of others to share with. You're fun, easygoing, and a great team player. If you see a wolf here, you must be more introverted than extroverted. You feel comfortable in your own company and aren't afraid to listen to yourself. You aren't afraid of responsibility and prefer to get all the credits for what you've done.
You'll have 5 seconds for each. Let's go! What comes to your mind when you look at this picture? If you noticed one big tiger first, you're pretty happy with your life right now and wake up with a smile. You like your job and have some great friends and a loving family. You don't want to change anything and just enjoy every day. In case you spotted a landscape with a tree and a little tiger first, you've had some problems in the past that you've managed to solve. But now you're cautious about everything and can't let yourself run around carefree. How about this one? If you saw a beautiful golden landscape with some waterfalls, you probably feel a bit bored at the moment. Everything seems to be fine, but you're missing some bright emotions and adventures. Start with the little things, cook a new meal, or buy some clothes you'd never wear before. If you saw a young girl here first, looks like you've been a bit overwhelmed lately. You're trying to be one step ahead of everyone else at work with your hobbies and personal life. It's okay to give yourself a break and just live your life at your own pace sometimes. In case the animals hiding in the landscape have caught your eye, you're pretty happy with everything in your life, but your mind often wanders somewhere else. You run different scenarios in your head of you living a different life that could be even better. Try doing one of the things you've been dreaming about for so long. Moving on, what does this one look like to you? If it's definitely a guitar, you're someone who likes to have a good laugh. Your positive energy spreads onto others easily. That's why you're the heart of any party. You mix with new people well and have like a billion friends. If you're positive it's a landscape with trees reflected in the water, you feel cautious about letting new people too close to you. You might seem reserved at first, but when you're ready to accept those new people into your life, you build strong bonds and will never let them down. How about this one? Those who see a huge yellow-eyed fish here respect the rules and feel uncomfortable breaking any of them. You prefer to stay out of trouble, so you'd never try anything unconventional. You follow the majority, and if something goes wrong, you're relieved to share the fault with everyone else. If you're one of those people who see a huge ship in this image, you never follow the crowd, even if it's going the right way. You're a rebel at heart, and you believe rules are meant to be broken. You like to take a chance and often win. Next, is this one all plain to you, or do you see the double meaning? Those who see a bunch of sheep and a wolf here adapt to changes in life easily. You accept the fact that nothing lasts forever, and always look on the bright side to find the positive in everything. This helps you move on and save your energy for more important things than worries. Those who see a big wolf and a little wolf find it uneasy letting go of people, places, and situations. You don't like change, it confuses you. Even if things aren't perfect, you'd rather leave them the way they are because you're used to them. Sometimes you just have to let things go their own way. It'll save you a lot of nerves. How about this one? If you see a polar bear here, you're an emotionally stable person. You know you can't plan everything in life, so you accept surprises and find joy in them. You know you won't make fun memories if you stay on a perfectly smooth road. If you clearly see a hand in this image, you love to plan everything in your life. You can't stand it when something doesn't go as you expected it to. You always think of all the possible outcomes before taking even the smallest decision, like what to buy for dinner. Try being more spontaneous. You might like it. Now, taking it one level up, can you see the hidden meaning here? If this one looks like a lake and some swans to you, you're a realist who's mostly in a good mood. You don't expect too much from anything or anyone. You're kind and forgiving and can explain and accept any behavior. It helps you protect yourself from disappointments. If you saw a band playing in the mountains, you're more comfortable in the world of your own dreams than in reality. You have your vision of how things should work out, and you feel sad when other people aren't as brave, nice, and caring as you expect them to. Try taking it easier on them. How about this one? If the first thing you saw here was a vase, you don't like to stay in the spotlight. You're a talented and creative person, but you're a bit shy and don't like it when other people are staring at you. That's why you prefer to express yourself through writing, drawing, or similar arts that don't take you directly on stage. If you clearly saw two profiles in this one, you love attention so much you make a little show out of everything. You can make a loud joke or start singing as you go grocery shopping. You have plenty of energy, and the only way to let it all out is to get on stage and get all the eyes looking at you. This one looks pretty abstract. What do you think about it? Those who are sure it's an old man are really good at saving money. You plan your budget and never buy things you didn't plan to. You know your priorities well, and you don't feel like you're depriving yourself of anything. Saving makes you happy. Those who spotted a horse in this image are trying to stick to a budget, but it doesn't always work out. You could be saving for a new car for a couple of months and then spend it all on the shoes of your dreams. What really matters is that it makes you happy, so don't worry too much about it. Moving on, what can you say about this drawing? If you saw an old man's profile here first, you believe that you can achieve anything in life if you give it your all. You're patient and stubborn in a good way. You set goals and fulfill them one by one on the way to your dream. You prefer to call it plans, not dreams. If you saw a man on a horse, a river, and a figure on the ground, you believe in destiny. You think lots of things are just meant to be. You aren't lazy or anything, but you're sure sometimes success is just a matter of luck. When you have an uneasy choice to make, you prefer to wait it out and let the problem solve itself. Next, please. This one feels so cold. What do you see here? If it looks like a snowy mountain to you, comfort is your priority. Your home means the world to you, and you don't like to move from place to place. You can't focus on anything or get details done in a mess. You're ready to spend money and effort on nice little details. In case you saw a huge face first, and no, it's not me, you prefer to invest in memories and emotions. You'd love to sleep under the stars as long as it takes you to a new place with people you love. You don't buy too many things because they make moving problematic. All you really need fits in one backpack, and you're happy it's so. What comes to your mind when you look at this image? If it's definitely a zebra to you, you enjoy arranging surprises for your loved ones. You prefer giving to receiving, and you'd go to the end of the world to make your family and friends happy. Their happiness is the best feedback to you. If you see some trees here, looks like you prefer getting gifts to giving them to others. You never show it even if you aren't 100% happy with the gift, and it makes people feel like they know you so well and they made your day. So, you're doing a good thing your way. Wow, you'll have 5 seconds for each of the illusions. Get ready for your mind to be bent. Can you tell which of the 2 yellow lines is longer? Seems obvious to me. Oh wow, I was wrong. None of them is longer. They are exactly the same length. This is a Ponzo illusion, not a Ponzi scheme. Your brain judges an object's size based on its background. Here, your brain decides the upper line that's further away has to be longer to catch up with the line that's closer. Here's another one for you. Do you think these lines are parallel to each other? Yep, they perfectly are. Again, your brain judges them based on their surroundings. All those short intersecting lines make you believe the longer lines are messed up. What about the red lines in this image? Are they straight or curved? This is the herring illusion. The seemingly curved lines are perfectly straight and parallel to each other. The background makes you think otherwise. How many colors can you see here? Did you get red, purple, and green? In that case, you're all wrong. If you zoom in on this illustration, you can see all the spheres are of the same color. The stripes in the foreground make you believe the spheres are of different colors too. If you remove that foreground from the image, you'll see all the spheres are beige. Welcome to Ames' room. Nothing is impossible here. Which of these 2 people do you think is larger? An Ames room only seems to be a normal rectangular construction. It has slanted walls and an inclining ceiling and floor. The right corner is closer to you than the left corner. Your brain is used to rectangular rooms, so it corrects the image for you. The room seems normal, and the people inside seem weird. How many prongs do you think this trident has? The correct number is 3. Nah, just kidding. That would be too obvious. The empty space between the prisms forms the central prong. Take a closer look at the top of the prongs. There are just 2 openings. Can you tell what animal is hiding here? The secret here is to shake your head back and forth, or you can zoom out on the image. When you see the tiny version of it, it's obvious there's a cat hiding behind all those lines. Now, focus on one point of this image for at least 15 seconds. Don't think of anything else, just keep looking. Can you see the image disappearing? It happens because the neurons in your brain filter information. They decide what's essential and what's useless. When you focus on one point, your brain receives no new information. Your peripheral vision takes new data from the surrounding white background and adapts the graphic to it. Here's the next illusion for you. Can you tell if the circles are moving or standing still? This image isn't animated. It's an example of a peripheral drift illusion that makes you see still images as moving ones. When you stare at one part of the image without blinking, that part stops moving. Can you count all the black dots in this image? 3, 4, 6? There are 12 of them, but you can't see them all at once. That's because your peripheral vision fails you at tasks like this. What do you see in this image? If you're sure there are some lines and a light blue circle in the middle, you're wrong. The background is entirely white. You see the non-existent light blue circle because your brain adds color into the bare negative spaces. What about this one? What colors are these funky shapes? Just like in the previous illusion, they're all empty and white. That's a watercolor illusion. Your brain fills in the shape that has a bright line and a darker line at its borders with a brighter color. Now, can you tell if this image is 3D? It's perfectly flat. The white shade in the middle creates the bulge effect. If you move closer, you'll notice it spread its luminance. The task here is simple. Follow this spiral from the beginning to the end. Gotcha! You can't do it, because this spiral isn't a spiral. It's made up of concentric circles. Your brain fills in the gaps for you because it's confused by this crazy background. Can you tell which rectangles are darker? Believe it or not, the rectangles under columns A and B are the exact same color. The surrounding black and white bars make you believe column A is way darker. Can you find the right shadow for this fun couple? No, it's this one. Only one of the locks is unlocked. Can you spot it in 5 seconds? Good job! This drawing is missing one piece. Pick the right one out of the 3 possible options. Well done! There's a little mouse hiding somewhere between the mushrooms. Your task is to find it. There it is, cute little thing. One of these jellyfish can't swim because it's an air balloon. Can you see it? Well, it does look a lot like a jellyfish. What's that chirping? All birds but one are having a chat. One of them doesn't speak their language. It's a snail right here. I'd love to have some coffee. Please help me find it. Yay, it was hiding here all the time. All penguins look alike, but one is more special than the others. Can you spot it? This little guy right here has slightly different eyes. Let's take it one level up. Can you find the odd one out here? You could be a detective with your sharp eyes. One of these plants is slightly different from the others. You have 5 seconds to find it. Here it is. All these moons must produce a lot of light. Pick the odd one out. I knew it. How about a little safari? The zebra on the right is different from its pal on the left in 5 ways. Can you name them all? I only found 3 differences. Oh, now I see. How about these lions? Again, there are 5 not-so-obvious differences between them. Did you get them all? What about these antelopes? Oh, I didn't see the red nose. What a beautiful and peaceful landscape. It's different from the one on the left in 5 ways. Name them all. Well done! Here are 2 scenes from a busy city life for you. The task remains the same. I only managed to find 3 differences here. Let's go see some waterfalls. Something is wrong with the second image. I got it. What about you? The fall is my favorite season. Can you notice 5 ways these pictures don't match? Fantastic! It's beach time, but you can't relax until you find 5 differences here. Well, enjoy your well-deserved rest. Alright, enough. Moving on. What you see in the next images can tell a lot about your personality. Let's start with this one. If it's a woman reading a book to you, you're a practical and goal-oriented person. You work a lot. You're great at planning and know how to keep your emotions under control. Those who notice Salvador Dali's face, first of all, are artists at heart. Even if your job doesn't have to do with creativity, you find your own ways to express yourself through drawing, writing, or music. If you noticed an armchair first, you never look for easy and obvious solutions in your life. You always surprise everyone else with your unique vision of the world. How about this one? What do you see here? If they're women with umbrellas to you, you've plenty of friends because you're open-minded and mix with new people easily. You enjoy spending time surrounded by others and share everything with them. If it's a sad man's face to you, you're wise beyond your years. Sometimes you need to stop and think about life. At these moments, you prefer to be alone. You don't have that many friends, but you're loyal and always ready to help them. Alright, what can you say about this image? If it's a man sitting down by the water to you, you must be smart and careful with what you do and what you say. You always think twice before making an important decision and rarely regret anything you've done. If you see a face here, you're more emotional than rational. You'll always pick a new and unknown path and never think for too long when you have to make a decision. It's easy to make you cry or smile, but you get over things quickly as well. Here's another illusion for you. If it looks like a couple of playful squirrels to you, you must be a natural explorer. You don't feel happy staying in one place and are always the first to try new things and visit new places. You're active, charismatic, and fun to be around. If you clearly see a woman's face here, you prefer to stick to the plan and don't like surprises. You're a natural leader and great at delegating tasks to others. They respect you and follow your lead. What about this one? If it looks like a lifeless forested area to you, you're most likely better at sciences than at arts. You can fix any gadget or at least carefully follow the instructions to one of those. Your mind is a well-organized chamber. If you instantly saw animals here, you must be into arts and creativity. You don't even know manuals exist. You like to live in the moment and always listen to your heart. How many colors do you see here? If your answer is 3, you're not wrong. Do you think it's 17? Could be.
What?
Although the image went viral just recently, the explanation to this mystery is at least a century and a half old. It was discovered by an Austrian math and physics professor, Mach. He noticed you can easily distinguish between similar colors of slightly contrasting shades when they're close to each other. When you set them apart, the difference is barely noticeable. The professor thought it had something to do with the construction of the eyeball and the tissue the retina is made of. The bands effect was later named Mach bands in his honor. Years later, when they had better technology, scientists found the professor was basically right. Your retina is similar to a cinema screen. It captures light that's projected through the pupil. Receptors are all over that screen. Some of them are more active under bright light and send a whole lot of signals to the brain. When 2 cells send similar signals, you might think it's the same shade. Nerves are trying to solve this problem. They send stronger signals to make the difference more obvious at the border of different shades. Your brain then notices a clear boundary. This explains why you can see the difference between similar shades when they're next to each other. The transition between colors can look like a separate color. Some people can't see the difference between contrasting colors in the picture because of how their brains are built. The color rendering abilities, brightness, and contrast of your laptop or smartphone screen is another reason. Then there's also the amount of lighting in your house or office. Plus, you don't have the same optics in your eyes that screen light as anyone else. You also have unique level of pigment density that affects how your eyes absorb light. You could even have more than regular 3 cone cell types and see more colors than others. And some people are more affected by the Mach bands phenomenon than others. That's why there's no correct answer to how many colors the image contains. Sometimes, uncertainty can make different people see one thing differently. The dress that was somehow gold and white, blue and black, blue and white, and blue at the same time became a real sensation. The picture was taken on a cell phone in a really weird lighting and overexposed. You can't tell if it was taken inside or outside, and that means you don't know if it's artificial or natural light. It's not clear if the light illuminates the dress from the front or the back. If it were backlit, there would have to be a shadow. Parts of the dress itself were in shadow. That shadow was reflecting off the dress itself, complicating things even more. Confused? Me too. When your brain doesn't have enough information, it fills in the gaps by making its own assumptions. It mostly makes them based on what it's previously seen or known. That's why your brain could make one guess about lighting conditions and someone else's a totally different one. People who thought it was in a shadow believed the dress was white and gold. Same with those who thought it was in natural light. Shadows and blue sky overrepresent blue light and make things seem yellowish. Oh, and the retailer of the dress officially confirmed it was black and blue, and that it was sold out in the first 30 minutes of business the day after it had gone viral. A new debate over the color of retro sneakers happened a few years later for the same reason. Are they teal and gray, or maybe pink and white? You can't be sure with weird camera quality, flash, and funky lighting. When you zoom in on the picture, you can notice the hand is unnaturally bluish. So, depending on how sensitive your eyes are to light and how your brain fills the visual information gaps, the sneakers can look different to you. In reality, they turned out to be pink and white. Do these strawberries look red to you? In fact, they're gray and green. The picture has been drained of any red. Your brain still makes you see it because of something known as color constancy. Your brain can sometimes ignore information from the color of the light. It knows what strawberries are, and it also knows they're supposed to be red, so it helps you see them as such. When an astronaut posted a picture of some sand dunes, the internet thought they were pits, not hills. Only when they flipped the pic over, people could see dunes in the indefinite pattern. Turns out your brain thought the sun was in the 1 o'clock position. It means it's supposed to be casting shadows from the upper right. In reality, it was casting shadows from the upper left. So, turning it upside down makes things more usual to your brain. How many black spots can you see in this image? There are 12 of them, but most people can't see them all at once. All the dots are perfectly visible, but you can see each of them only when you look directly at it. Your peripheral vision isn't that perfect. Your brain has to fill in the blanks. The white between gray lines makes it think the dots are lighter than they are, so it decides to pretend there's just grayer and the dots aren't there. Although one of them looks twice the size of the other, these guys are of the same size. They're placed in an Ames room, invented by an American ophthalmologist in the 1940s. You'd have to look into a pinhole at a room that seems to be a regular square, but is a trapezoid. The walls and ceilings are tilted, and this makes your eyes see one person tower over another even when they move around. If you have a toy train track at home, you can see how the next illusion works in reality. You take 2 segments of the same size and put them next to each other. One of them looks obviously larger than the other one. That's because your brain compares the 2 sides of the pieces that are next to each other. It compares the right side of the track that's on the left to the left side of the track that's on the right. When you compare squares A and B in the checker shadow illusion, You can tell square A is much darker than square B. Your brain expects the cylinder to throw a shadow on the board. It compensates for the alternating colors it expected to find. If you still don't believe the squares are of the same color, you can compare them with a color selector in any photo editing program. In the Ebbinghaus illusion, the two circles in the middle of their circle sets are of the same size. Turns out the way you perceive the size of things is all about context. The circle surrounded by larger ones seems smaller, and the one in the company of smaller circles seems to be a giant. There are 12 dots here, all of them are lilac. Your task is to stare at the cross in the middle of the dot ring. As one lilac dot disappears for a moment, a green dot takes its place. It also gradually wipes away other lilac dots one by one as it moves around the circle. This is the afterimage effect in action. The rods and cones adjust to the constant disappearance of lilac dots. They replace it with a color from the opposite end of the spectrum, which is green. Seeing motion in a still image is one of the most common types of optical illusions. To create one, you have to build a pattern of high contrast colors. They activate neural signals at the same time. This is how the fake motion effect appears. Café wall illusion was first described in the late 19th century. The tile pattern of a café wall had straight parallel lines and grout in between them. It seemed the black and white lines sloped diagonally. That's because different types of neurons in your brain react to dark and light colors. Some parts of the grout line seem brighter than others. Where there's contrast, there appears to be asymmetry.
Right now, you're going to test your observation skills. This test has 4 levels, and each one's trickier than the last. Find a pen and a piece of paper to write down your score. For each correct answer, you'll get some points. 1 if it's the first level, 2 if it's the second one, 3 for the third, and 4 for the last one. The results will be at the end of the video. Level 1. 1. So, how many legs can you see in this picture? Right, there are 12 legs, 6 wearing dress shoes, and 6 with high heels. 2. There's an animal in this picture that's trying really hard to blend in. Can you spot it? Aha! It's this piglet, but its nose gives it away. 3. Can you find 3 animals hidden in this picture? Right, 3 ducks are hiding among the tree branches. 4. What's wrong with this image? 2 moons? Really? 5. Can you spot anything strange in this picture? A snake is pretending to be a giraffe here. 6. Just another regular day at the supermarket. Or is it? It would be if the lady on the left wasn't wearing skis. 7. How about this image? Is everything correct here? Not really. There's something wrong with the exit sign. 8. Why is this laundry trip gonna end badly? Because who on earth washes white shirts together with red socks? Not me. 9. This picture looks weird, but why? The mouse is chasing the cat, not the other way around. 10. Can you spot the odd image? Yep, it's the sprinkled donut in the corner. Well, that was easy. Okay, I'm up for some challenges now. Level 2. 11. Which kitty is different from the rest? This one seems to be more pleased with life than the others. 12. There are 4 mistakes in this picture. Try to find all of them. Well, let's see. A globe under the sink, a pair of shoes in the cupboard, a shirt instead of the curtains, and a table lamp instead of the faucet. This woman's life must be full of adventures. 13. Can you see 2 different things in this image? It can be a girl or someone's face. 14. Do you see a deer? A real master of camouflage. 15. Can you find 3 animals here? only got one question. What are rabbits doing up there? 16. There are 3 things wrong in this picture. Can you spot them all? There's no red light and no rails for the tram. And December 32nd? Seriously? You really want 2020 to last that much longer? 17. Which girl looks different? The one in the right bottom corner, because it's a boy. 18. Which magician is different from the rest? Yeah, he probably decided to stand out from the crowd by wearing a different cloak. 19. Something is missing in this picture, but what exactly? The sun is bright, but then, where are the camel's shadows? 20. Which emoji is different? Yep, the non-winking one. Okay, not so bad. What's next? Surprise me. Level 3. 21. How many cubes are there in this picture? There are 9 cubes. 22. Can you spot the odd one? Yeah, it looks a bit shorter than the rest. 23. Can you figure out which string is tied to the banana? I'd bet on the first one, but it's actually number 3. 24. How many animals can you see in this picture? There are 3 foxes. 25. Something's wrong with this picture. But what? The pitcher is empty. Where's the milk coming from? 26. Can you read what's written here? It's a mystery. No, you don't get it. The word is mystery. 27. Which unicorn is different? This one, because it's a horse, not a unicorn. 28. What's wrong in this picture? The fish doesn't have fins. 29. What's hidden here? A tiny hint, it's alive. Right, it's a giant panda. 30. What can you see in this image? It's either a face or a penguin. Wow, to tell you the truth, that level made me sweat. Level 4. 31. Can you find a snake in this picture? Duh, looks like a tree root to me. 32. What can you see in this image? There are 2 trees and a woman's head. 33. Can you find the farmer's wife? Here's a hint, she's somewhere nearby. Who would have guessed you could turn the image upside down? 34. The children are sure the astronomer is still in the room, but where can he be hiding? He really didn't want to be found. 35. These geese are in danger. A predator's hiding somewhere in the picture. Wow, almost missed it. How spooky. 36. What's hidden in this picture? It's a big, toothy, scary shark. 37. How many things can you see in this picture? It can be a beggar or it can be a face, depending on your perspective. 38. This image is quite obvious. Or is it? Try turning it upside down. Then, the rabbit will turn into a man with a long mustache. 39. And what can you see in this picture? It might be a happy dog, or an equally cheerful cat. 40. And finally, can you read this? You don't say. Bad eyes? Okay, this level was actually mind-boggling, but I'm looking forward to learning my results. If your score is 0 to 25 points, work more on your observation skills, and you'll get better. If you've got 26 to 50 points, you have a quick eye. With more practice, you'll soon become a pro. If you have 51 to 75 points, you're as attentive as Sherlock. You can spot the tiniest details without much effort. But if you've got 76 to 100 points, wow! I can't but feel a bit intimidated. Nothing can escape your eagle eye. It's better not to mess with you.
You know, scientists claim that the way your brain perceives and analyzes information can reveal a lot about your personality. Look at each of these optical illusions for a couple of seconds. What you see first can say a lot about who you are. Number 1. If the first thing you saw was a tree, you tend to pay too much attention to details, but you're great at feeling the mood of other people. It makes you a tactful and empathetic person. And if you spotted a couple facing each other, you're logical, calm, and rational. You know how to reason with people, even when they're upset or nervous. Number 2. If you saw a car in this picture, you treasure your freedom. You like it when things go according to your plan. That's why it's often hard for you to make fast decisions. If you thought it was a man holding binoculars, you don't usually pay too much attention to details. Instead, you focus on the big picture. But maybe you noticed the letter A first. Then you have a rare ability to spot things other people miss. You're extremely intuitive and can think outside the box. Numero 3. If the first thing you see in the picture is 2 thumbs, you're a great leader and an excellent organizer. You're ready to take responsibility, and you understand what consequences your actions will have. And if you spotted an eruption, you have an altruistic personality. You're interested in people and want to help them. And here's number 4. If it's a monkey you notice first, that's my picture. No, actually, you're an independent person. It's crucial for you to have some personal space. If you saw a tiger, you don't mind taking risks. You believe nothing is impossible if you try hard enough. 5. If the first thing you saw was several trees in front of a sunset, you're very perceptive and easygoing. If you spotted a feline's face, you're a determined person. You always stick to the decisions you make and move towards your goal no matter what. 6. If the first thing you noticed in this image was an outline of a face, you're likely to be an introvert. You don't like noisy parties. They make you feel worn out, both physically and emotionally. If you saw a saxophonist, you're more extroverted. You love socializing, and people fall all over themselves to make friends with you. But remember to rest and not to burn out. 7. If you only saw some nature in this image, your life is full of different events at the moment. You don't like routine, choosing to mix up your activities. This way, you'll never do the same stuff several days in a row. If you noticed a face hidden in this image, it's facing the bottom of the frame. You're an organized person. You find it hard to live without a plan. It makes you feel unsafe. 8. If you saw zebras more clearly, you love talking and enjoy being surrounded by people. Making new acquaintances is your hobby. You don't like following boring routines. If it was a lion that stood out in the image, you prefer a calmer lifestyle. You'd rather spend some quality time with your few trusted friends and your family. Having too many people around drains your energy, which makes you avoid crowded places. 9. If you saw a face in this image, you're approachable and laid back. People feel that you care. That's why they often unload their problems on you. But maybe the first thing you paid attention to was someone waving a magic wand at a kneeling figure. Then you're an ambitious person. Whatever you do, you gotta do it better than others. 10. If it was a cat that stood out in the image, you probably don't like changes. People know they can rely on you. At the same time, you tend to keep your feelings and emotions in check. If you saw a face, you're a creative person. You love learning new things, and your intuition helps you find opportunities literally everywhere. If the first thing that jumped out at you was a cliff, you can tackle pretty much any problem, all thanks to your positive outlook on life. Number 11. Is it a large, serious cat in the image? Then you're a realist when it comes to life. You see the big picture, and it helps you deal with problems. But if it's a mouse that caught your attention, you're an optimist. You try to find something positive in any situation, and in most cases, you succeed. 12. If you saw a woman's face in this picture, you often rely on your intuition, and it doesn't usually let you down. You're also attentive to what's happening in the world around you. But what if you focused on flowers? Then you're someone who often feels the need to slow down and relax in nature. 13. If a cute round face was what you noticed first, you're a sensitive and friendly person. You don't like conflicts and try to deal with disagreements in a peaceful way. If you paid attention to two birds, you're cheerful and outgoing. You love meeting new people. 14. If you saw an elephant, you're loyal to your friends and respectful to your family. People like your friendly and considerate personality. They also appreciate what a great listener you are. If you paid attention to a small village, you're quite traditional. You prefer a peaceful and simple lifestyle over a city bustle. 15. If it was the pillars that attracted your attention, you value comfort and security. It can be hard for you to break out of your comfort zone. If the image of two people popped out at you, your life is never dull. Curious and adventurous, you're ready to change your surroundings at the drop of a hat. So, somebody drop a hat. Whoops, there you go. 16. If you noticed a woman first, you have an analytical and thoughtful mind. You tend to be practical, which some people mistake for being cold-hearted. If you first saw an old man, you have a sensitive and compassionate personality. You're also creative and artistic. 17. Did you see two crocodiles facing each other? Then you always try to be in control of every situation in your life. If you noticed a bird first, you don't mind following instructions coming from other people. It doesn't mean you don't have your own opinion, but you're always ready to find a middle ground. 18. If you paid attention to a lady's face first, your brain's right hemisphere is developed better than the left one. You're an artistic person with high emotional intelligence. And if you saw a man playing the saxophone, your left brain. Logic is your strong suit. You excel at analytical thinking and numbers. 19. If you first spotted a crocodile, you're likely quite practical and prefer to avoid risks. Sometimes you tend to focus on negative things happening around you, so don't forget to relax and enjoy life. If you noticed a boat with two people in it sailing along the river, you have a great eye for details. You have a creative personality and can find a way out of any tricky situation. 20. If you saw a young woman, you have a joyful and optimistic personality. You perceive things in a positive light, but sometimes you can be too impulsive. If you noticed an old woman first, you have a lot of life experience. It helps you look at all situations from various perspectives. 21. Did you spot a duck first? Quack. Then you're a highly intuitive, creative type with a rich imagination. If the first thing you noticed was a rabbit, you have outstanding analytical skills. You must be great at writing, reading, and figuring out logical solutions to all kinds of problems. 22. If you saw a squirrel, you're great at analyzing things. Your logical thinking helps you process facts and find solutions amazingly fast. If what jumped out at you at first was a duck, your talents are more on the creative side of things. 23. Most people spot a frog in this image right away. If you're one of them, you're self-confident and thus relaxed. You communicate with others in a direct, honest, and sincere way. And if you saw a horse, you're always trying to get to the deeper meaning of things. You have your own opinion, and nothing people say can sway it. 24. If it was a candlestick that attracted your attention first, you usually see a situation as a whole. Only after figuring out the big picture, you spring into action. And if you notice two faces first, you have the ability to concentrate on details. It's extremely important for you to surround yourself with positive people and get their support. Hey, how about we create your psychological portrait using optical illusions? You game? The rules are simple. Just remember the first thing you saw in the picture. Now, if you see a horse in this picture, you're a very valuable friend. You have excellent communication skills, and you're very confident and reliable. But if the first thing you saw here is the horse's head, it may mean you're critical of everything, and the opinion of others can't throw you off the path. The next illusion. Those who saw a crocodile here love a quiet life and don't like to open up to something new. But if you saw a boat, you're more creative than other people and pay attention to small details. Those who see a young woman here have an analytical mind and use their left brain more. If you see an old man, you're likely to be a very gentle and sensitive person who can be very empathetic to other people. You're more creative and you use the right side of your brain. The white pillars in the picture mean you like comfort and safety, but you should leave the comfort zone to gain more experience and achieve something new. But if the first thing you see is the silhouettes of two men, then you're the kind of person who doesn't sit in place and is ready to move constantly. Are these flowers or a woman's face? If it's flowers for you, then you appreciate the world you live in and just love nature. And if the first thing to draw your eye was a woman's face, then you have a great ability to highlight details from the environment that will help you to make the right decision. If an orange explosion is painted for you here, you have incredible leadership qualities. But if the first thing you see in this picture is black fingers, then you're a very compassionate, generous, and kind person. Hey, did you see two faces here? You're an extrovert. You're social, and you're constantly thinking about other people. But you also get influenced easily, so try to surround yourself only with good people. But if you see a candlestick here, you're the exact opposite. You think more about yourself than about other people, and you like to sit at home rather than having noisy parties with a bunch of people. Ooh, this one is scary. If you see a skull here, it means it's hard for you to make decisions and move forward. But you need to find the courage and overcome the circumstances. It's the only way for you to become stronger. And if you see a woman, you're probably feeling like a squeezed lemon, both emotionally and physically. Perhaps you have just ended a difficult period in your life. In any case, stay on the bright side. Now, if you see trees here, you must be an ambitious person who loves to bring everything to perfection. If you saw the roots at the first moment, it means you're a progressive person who strives for improvement. If the whole picture looked like dark lips to you, then you're a person who doesn't like to go deep into something and study too much. Hey, were those chocolate lips? Now, what do we have here? Is it a river and a cliff? Then you're an optimist who adapts easily to the changes in life. But if the first thing you see is a white cat, then you like stability, and you're in an emotional and mental balance. And you're a cat lover, of course. And if you see a face here, then you're a very creative person. You see a new opportunity in every detail of the world, and you're very curious. Whoa, is this an explosion? Then you're easily scared. You often feel fear of something new and unknown. You may even be in conflict with yourself. But if you see a passionate kiss in the smoke, then you value relationships and family the most in life. This is the highest priority for you. Ooh, cute bears. If you saw them first, then you can easily solve problems. You see a picture from far away, notice all the details, and can find the best solution. But if for you this picture is a mountain landscape, then you are a more intuitive person. You're guided by your sixth sense when decision-making. Are you a realist? If you saw a big blue cat here, then yes, you don't have much fantasy, but you see the world as it is, and it helps you make plans on how to conquer it. If a little mouse hits your eyes first, you can see the positive even in the worst-case scenario. For you, the glass is always half full. The next illusion. If you see a girl at the window, then be careful. This may suggest that you expect something unpleasant to happen, and you're also probably an impulsive person. If you see a skull here, then you're pessimistic. Your friends may call you a cynic, but you consider yourself a realist. Creativity against analytics? What do you see? If the red saxophonist is the first thing you see, then you are a person who likes to systematize and analyze information. You must be good at math and foreign languages. And if you see a portrait of a woman here, then you're an emotional and creative person. Is it a bird? Then you're a daydreamer, though a little absent-minded. But you strive to make the world a better place and invent ways to do so. And if there's a big face of a lion here, then you're a very brave person who's ready to face their insecurities and come out the winner of any fight. And here we have crocodiles? Then maybe you like to be in charge and manage your life. Orders from other people make you suffer because you're a natural leader. If you see a bird in the middle, you're ready to help others. You're reliable and friendly. Okay, if the first thing you see here is a car, then you're a person who appreciates their freedom. You like to break away on an unexpected journey, meet new people, and see new places. If you saw a person with binoculars, it means you have an analytical type of thinking, and you like to look at things from afar, often missing small details. And although you can absorb a lot of visual information, you should focus on the smaller things too. If you saw the letter A, then congratulations! You have a very sharp vision, just like an eagle. So hey, you can dive on a salmon. And you have well-developed intuition. Oh, this one is harder. If you're a girl and you've seen a man's face here, then either you're looking for a partner or your current partner is a priority in your life and you feel a strong emotional connection with him. But if you see a woman's face, then you feel comfortable and self-sufficient. Guys who saw a man's face are concerned about relationships with other men, whether they are colleagues, friends, or even other guys in the gym. And if you see a female face, you're looking for your love. But take your time, or else you may push too hard. This is a test for Super Sherlock. Of course, it's two squirrels, right? Well, that means you're pretty lazy, and you don't get too much into details. Now, tilt your head a little to the left. Now you can see a woman's face. But if that's what you saw from the beginning, then you're an incredibly attentive person who can get along well with other people. And now we will determine your psychological age. If the first thing you saw was old people's faces, then you have already lived a long and colorful life. You definitely have something to remember. But if you see a young couple sitting next to each other, then you're young and all the fun is waiting for you. Now, be ready to give a quick answer. Remember what you see first. Let's go! If you notice a smiling face, you're an optimist. If it's the opened book, you're smart and have a well-developed intuition. If it was roses, you're calm and kind. The tilted cross means that you're faithful. Balloons mean cheerfulness and good imagination. If the first thing you saw was a heart, then you're gentle and affectionate. The lion's face means that you're fearless. And if at first you noticed the tie, you're determined and diligent. Oh, and if you saw the ice cream cone, then it's time for an eye exam, because there wasn't one in the picture. That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like